I think he's happier that CM Punk's not there. Sometimes he is old and bitter, and he just complains. I'll just say that.
I don't think so. I think he was complaining from a place of spite and anger and disappointment.
He wanted
it to be a real business. He wanted everybody to make money, but the other people on the other side could have. You know how much money they left on the table? And Punk said, he's like, I tried to talk to them. I tried to set up meetings where we could all get together in one room and talk, but the other three didn't want to. And we could have had CM Punk and FTR versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega at All In based off of a real fight that they had. And that would have been money.
Yeah, but then what was the reason that the Young Bucks didn't want to do it?
They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to meet with him.
Yeah.
Kenny said he did. Kenny went on a podcast and said, no, I was ready to meet with him. I was with it. So just left two people that were not willing to meet up.
In fairness, I can relate to CM Punk because I've been the old guy trying to give the young guys some advice and they don't listen. And I'm like trying to, I want to shake them. Like, are you guys stupid? Just listen to me. And I feel like that's what Punk was doing. I think genuinely he was trying to make AEW a better place in terms of business-wise, money-wise. And then I think when you get upset and people don't listen to you, you become a little bit more harsh.
It's crazy because they're all grown adults. They are. And you can say this about kids, right? If someone has kids and like when they're young and they're teenagers and younger and they do something wrong, there is part of every person that can point to the parents and be like, it's partially their fault,
Yeah.
And I think it's the same in this situation was, yes, all these people were wrong in their own ways. Punk, the Bucks, everybody was like, you can't just be going around backstage choking people. As much as I love Punk, you just can't be doing that. He wouldn't do that in WWE, but he felt comfortable doing it over there because it was the Wild Wild West. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I remember when people were like, oh, he's gonna go WWE. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's a different atmosphere. It's a different environment. It's more corporate. They have people in place to deal with these type of talent situations. They're a propaganda machine. If anything even happened, we would never hear about it. They leak what they want to leak to the dirt sheets. They don't leak what they don't want to leak. There's so much stuff that happens in that company we will never hear about. But at AEW, they're like friends with the dirt sheets. The talent's friends with the dirt sheets. Everyone's leaking everything. You got to remember, this all started because it was going around the dirt sheets that CM Punk got Colt Cabana demoted to Ring of Honor because they had their own drama. And everyone was like, oh, that's the reason Colt, you don't see Colt here no more. And a lot of the indie wrestlers, this is the thing, little story time. A lot of the indie wrestlers from that era, from like 2005, 4, because CM Punk's the indie wrestlers from 2002, 4. So like CM Punk, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Homicide, Christopher Daniels, they're their own class that came before. Christopher Daniels was even before them, but they're their own class that came before. Then there was a new class that came and it was like Kevin Owens, El Generico, Pac, the Young Bucks. And in a weird way, like Punk was in the WWE and I think they all respected and liked Punk, but like Colt Cabana was the guy that went to the WWE, didn't make it, got fired and went back to the indies, but taught all the indie guys how to make money on the indies. So they have a different appreciation for Colt because Colt was the guy that was like, make t-shirts, introduce him to Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees. Now all the wrestlers have stores and et cetera, et cetera. Like they all have a lot of respect for Colt because Colt guided them on the indies, helped them get bookings, told them how to do stuff.
Right?
Yeah, like with those people on a more personal level where Punk was a star doing his thing and then eventually just left wrestling and effed off for 7 years and stopped texting people back that were in the wrestling business and did the UFC thing. So I get the animosity there where like they will probably have a different level of respect for Colt than they'll well have for Punk because Colt was like their older cousin, older brother figure, like, you know what I mean? That was helping them out where everyone loved Punk. They respected Punk, but Punk left and Punk came back and then Punk had a level of entitlement, I think, to these people over guys they thought should have more in there. Because you gotta remember, like, there will always be a part of the Young Bucks, Kenny, Cody, that will feel like this company only happened because of them. Tony wasn't able to do this unless they were so popular and they were so hot, which is 110% true. I agree with that.
I tuned into AEW because of them. And I thought, what was the first show they sold out? Was it All Out?
I was there in Chicago.
Right?
Yeah, and that wasn't an AEW show. That was literally just Cody taking Dave Meltzer's challenge that as an indie show, we can sell at a 10,000 people arena. And they did.
Yeah, I mean.
So that's why it all started. So long story short, I think what happened was Tony brought in Punk because Tony isn't a guy that went on the indies and knows the significance of Colt Cabana or Punk or the relations and everything. Also was so happy to bring Punk back. It probably offered Punk, and I don't know this for sure, but I feel like I'm pretty sure, hey, you're not going to be an EVP like the Young Bucks and Kenny guys that he did at the beginning, but you're gonna have power. You're gonna have some creative control. You're gonna have input on like what we can do better and whatnot because I trust you. And I don't think that's sat well with the other side.